So good afternoon, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you for this 12th edition of the Global Udan series on the webinar and initiative of development of international trade services and WTO Directorate, being organized in collaboration with our esteemed members, chairperson, past chairperson, Doha chapter of ICI. Thank you so much, CA Nirlav Bhatt, the former chairman, the chairperson of Doha chapter, and CA Kishore Alex, the current chairperson of Doha chapter, for being here. And of course, our moderator, CA Methri Swaminathan, whose experience and insight will surely enrich the discussion. Now, just to give you an idea to all the participants who have joined, thank you, the participants, for joining this important global webinar series, which we have initiated a few months back. And with all these participants' response, which we have got for last few weeks and over the months, it's tremendous. And insightful discussions, interactions have happened with different chapters, representative offices, government organizations, authorities, and was truly an opportunity for all the participants who got the benefit of hearing these experts and were able to understand the global opportunities which are now available. So today edition focuses specifically on Propel your professional career in Gulf region, which is Qatar perspective, a topic both timely and relevant, especially for our young professionals and those aspiring to explore the Gulf region. So as we know, Qatar has emerged as a vibrant hub for finance, infrastructure, business transformation in the region, with an increasing demand for high caliber finance and accounting professional. It offers a wealth of opportunities for Indian CAs to contribute meaningfully and grow globally. So of course, these webinar, we certainly aim to provide practical guidance, market understanding, and real life perspective for those who are already thriving in the region. So this is not just an information, it's all about enabling and inspiring actions. Just to share with all the participants, and of course, with our eminent speakers, Nirlip and Kishore from the Directorate, we started this series. We started an event which is called Global Capability Summit recently last week, which we had on 27th and 28th at Delhi. And we intend to do a series of just this GCC summit, like cities like Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Hyderabad, which is already planned. At Ahmedabad, we have planned on 29th and 30th of August. So members, participants interested may surely can join and be a participant in this GCC summit. This brings, the industry professionals, the regulators, the leaders, the ICI leadership at one forum. And there's so much to learn, understand, and being an accounting talent, and explore strategic collaboration between Indian professionals and the GCC region. So this is truly an opportunity for all the participants to hear the experts and can create their own verticals opportunities among the firm where they are associated or their own firm. On 1st of July, again, a very important day for us from the Directorate, where we launched a new certificate course on overseas outsourcing services for UK. We've already done 8 batches for US market. 9th batch is starting on 7th of July, which is the 9th batch of US market, US certificate course on outsourcing. UK will be starting very soon by end of July or in month of August. So this is again an important opportunity for members who are looking out for UK market. They can explore. And another important initiative which we took on the 1st of July, which is our 77th Foundation Day, which we all celebrated, we got an MOU renewed with the Services Export Promotion Council. So this was signed by our Honorable President, Charanjit Singh Nanda sir, and we got it renewed for another 5 years. So this renewal reflects the strong and continuing collaboration with ICI and SCPC to promote global footprint of Indian Chartered Accountants. So this is, again, would be an opportunity for all of us to reach with SCPC when they take the delegations. We do joint programs, we do webinars together. We have done a lot of collaboration in past and intend to do again in future. Lastly, for members to know that there is a APO portal, a portal which was launched by ICI during the month of February, during the WOFA on 2nd of February 2025. This portal is called as apo.icai.org. So this is an accounting pathway overseas portal. So this basically the accounting professionals can register at the portal, where we are encouraging the foreign entity to register at the portal. And this platform will help to create opportunities and connect Indian professionals with global accounting careers. So I think this is again an opportunity which we are giving to our participants, that they can register at this portal. In turn, accounting firms will look at their profile and can take the services of these Indian chartered accountants, the experts, the talent which we have, and can take services and create bonding and opportunities among themselves. So I think this is all about the initiative from the directorate. And I once again welcome CA Kishorji, the chairperson of Doha chapter. Thank you, Kishorji. And Nirlep, the immediate past or former past chairman of the Doha chapter, who's been so much, I would say, appreciate that you spared your valuable time being here today for the participant. And of course, Maitri, she'll be moderating with her experience, and I'm sure it'll be an interaction, a good learning. And I would see 1.5 hours of interaction, sharing the experience of the chapter, what initiative they have taken, and what are the opportunities which are available. So once again, welcome all the eminent personalities, the moderator, the participants for this 12th edition of Global Webinar Udan series. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit. And thanks for sharing all that the directorate is doing. It's really a lot of, facilitation for the purpose. So thank you for all of that. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12th series of the Global Udan, organized by the directorate on development of international trade services and WTO of the ICAI. I would like to thank the convener of the DITS WTO, CA Abhay Chhajar, who you just heard, and the deputy convener, CA Sanjeev Kumar Singhal, for their leadership in organizing this webinar series for our members and for the excellent choice of topics for this webinar series. Today's topic is once again a very relevant and increasingly important topic on propelling our professional careers in the Gulf region. We'll specifically discuss the Qatar perspective today. This webinar series and the choice of topic for the day are a testament to our globalization, which our profession is seeing in a shrinking world. And we are joined by two stellar members of the Institute, CA Nirlep Bhatt and CA Kishore Alex today. Thank you for making the time for this discussion today, gentlemen. By way of introduction, CA Kishore Alex is the chairperson of the Qatar chapter of the ICAI located in Doha. He is qualified as a chartered accountant in 2003 and earned the Certified Public Accountant CPA designation in the year 2020. Prior to this, he holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics and completed his master's in financial management in 2002. Currently, he serves in the asset department at Barwa Real Estate Company, prior to which he held several managerial roles in reputed organizations, including Qatar Real Estate Investment Company as head of risk, MIRC Electronics Limited or ONIDA as finance manager in South India, and High Tech Telecom as assistant finance manager. He brings an extensive professional experience in risk management, financial planning, restructuring, and mergers and acquisitions. Thank you for joining us today, sir. I would next like to introduce CA Nirlep Bhatt, who is the former chairperson of the Qatar chapter of ICAI, located in Doha. Nirlep ji is a chartered accountant and law graduate with a diverse experience of 20 years in banking, infrastructure, trade, and the FMCG sectors, with reputed organizations in India and Qatar, and is currently working as the group financial controller for a local conglomerate, Al Majid Jawad. Under his leadership, he led the Doha chapter of ICAI with the first prize as ICAI's Best Overseas Chapter Award in the year 2021. He was instrumental in having the first ever MOU in Qatar between ICAI and Qatar Financial Center. Many of you may have already heard him speak. He was a speaker at the World Forum of Accountants in 2025, apart from being an author on various publications and a mentor for young members. A very warm welcome to you, CA Nirlep Bhatt. It's an honor indeed to hear from you both, sir, on this topic. And who's better placed to share the experience of the journey of a CA in Qatar than you both, having been there and done all that for the profession in Qatar? I'll begin by requesting both of you, before getting into the formal discussions, I'll begin by requesting both of you to share in one sentence what you cherish the most about your professional journey. And just one sentence, please, Mr. Kishore Alex, the journey from Kottayam to Qatar. Over to you, sir.
No, it's a beautiful memory as well as I'm missing my village in Kottayam, but also here is a good, I can say, the second home, because don't worry about Qatar. It's like the second home to all the young professionals who want to come to Qatar. Okay, this safety wise, economy wise, family wise, you have good time, everything, and the connectivity between the two cities only less than 4 hours. So if anything happen there, also we can reach within 4 hours. So we can explore and we can help our chapter also. So it's I'm not missing India. That's last what I want to say to you. Okay, because every month we can travel here and there, both exploring different culture and as well as here economy here also, and we are contributing the good revenue to the Indian GDP also. That way we are proud of all the who are working in outside also. Thank you, Maitraji.
Thank you, sir, for that comforting beginning to this
Yeah.
to this discussion. And Nirlep over to you now. One sentence, please.
So the journey has been rewarding and gratifying, I would say, and it's an immense pleasure to contribute to the profession in whichever way I can, and happy to be in Qatar, which I always call peaceful, prosperous, and progressive country. And in Qatar, I try to say whenever I speak in Qatar, I try to be a brand ambassador of my home country, India. And whenever I speak in India, like currently, I try to be brand ambassador of my host country, which is Qatar.
Thank you, sir, for being the bridge between these two countries. Thanks.
Yes.
So I'm sure our participants are eagerly awaiting to hear more from all of you. I'd like to invite Mr. Kishore Alex to share your perspective, sir, on Qatar as an option for our members who are seeking to grow globally. So I'd like you to share your perspective, sir.
Thank you so much, Maitraji, for a warm introduction on a beautiful Friday morning in Qatar, was one of the vibrant cities in the Middle East. And good afternoon to my all professional colleagues in India and esteemed other members. It is indeed a privilege to address this vibrant gathering through this digital platform. As we celebrated our Chartered Accountants Day on 1st July, we are not only remember the founding of our institution in 1947, but also honor our core values of our define our profession like integrity, excellence, and steadfast commitment to service. The Chartered Accountants in India have a long been pillars of professional excellence, fostering the knowledge, ethics, and leadership across the nations. Today, we proudly reflect those same values in Qatar, where ICA Doha chapter serves as a vibrant hub for Indian CAs, promoting professional development and strengthening Indo-Qatar ties. Today, I will give an overall view of ICA Doha chapter functions and how it's helping to the new members as well as new Indian CAs and aspirant CAs. So I'll give an introduction about ICA Doha chapter. Doha chapter established in 1981, the first of the 55 overseas chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Since the inspection, the Institute of Chartered Accountants membership has grown over 400 professionals, holding the key position in both private and public sectors in Qatar, advancing the accounting professions in the region. And we, as Nirlabji earlier said, we were affiliated to Indian business professional community as well as under the Indian Embassy of Qatar. And we are the first, he said that the MOU signed between QFC. We are the first professional body signed under the Qatar Financial Center. And he already informed and repeatedly said that we recognize the excellence and earning multiple of times Best Overseas Chapter Awards. So ICA Doha chapter serves a platform for the young professional development for networking and industry collaborations. And we have separated our initiative like the technical seminars, workshops, and diverse topics in CPI. And we have flagship events, sports events, and CSR events, and knowledge sharing sessions, networking events with industry leaders, collaboration with the stakeholders in Qatar business economic ecosystem. And most of our audience were the finance professionals and business leaders and the policy makers and industry experts. I will give an overall view of how we are conducting the CPA sessions in Doha chapter. From Jan 25 onwards, chapter did 45 CPA sessions for various subjects, such as we started with legal compliance, contracts, and we did a 2025 India budget by Padma Shri T.N. Manoharan. He came physically and did around 200 participants were there. And we did a digital influence AI by C.A. Pattabhiraman. And we celebrated International Women's Day. And this year, the 5 eminent speakers from various field came. One was Sheila Taragan. She is the first CFO for Nissan Renault, first Asian CFO. Then we did the tax related Qatar evolving tax landscapes, insights and inspiration, and IFRS by CA MB Vijay Kumar, and trust transparency in AML, anti-money laundering. And now we are, as Nirlab said, Monday, we are celebrating the CA Day with our President Nandaji and Vice President Prasannaji and CCM member Babu Kallivel, and we have a CA, one esteemed celebrity CA Darpan Inani. He is from Vadodara. In addition to this normal event, we are having our flagship event called Annual Conference. Every year we are conducting this annual conference, October, and this year we are planned to have in 16 and 17. Normally around 350 delegates are attending. In that 250 from Qatar and 50 around from the Middle East and 50 from the India side. And I am inviting all those who are listening to me, inviting for this year annual conference. It's on 16 and 17 in Doha. This is in Pullman Hotel. I am declaring here that all Indians who are attending this meeting is absolutely free for them. Come and enjoy and see the vibrant country of Doha and see the activities and functions of our Doha chapter. And every year we are fortunate to have our Excellency Ambassador also attending the most of the events such as the budget as well as annual conference. And a couple of years, I think, if I'm wrong, please correct me, Nirlabji. Nirlabji time, the CA Suresh Prabhuji and other prominent personalities they came to Qatar and participated in our events. And we are also, like, Qatar, we did FIFA in 2022. So we are more focused on the sports also. We did our chapter annual cricket tournament, and this year one cricket celebrity, Srishant, came from India and he did it. And we had around 8 teams were the men's and 2 teams for the ladies. And final was with all the full facilities and gala dinner and everything was there. And second event is coming on this Friday for the badminton tournament. After the badminton tournament, we are doing for the football, then the chess practice for the families and the children's. And in addition to that one, because we are in this world and we are in I'm not saying that we are rich, but end of the day, we have some obligation to our society. That is, we have to give back to our society by the way of professional or educational or like CSR. So chapter did 2-3 events for the charity events because the Gulf countries we are celebrating iftar on the May or April like that. This year we did 2 iftar session with the poor workers, needy workers. They want the food and everything. And also we did one CSR event for the needy children, educated child. We donated the books for those who wants for the books. We did that scheme also. In addition to that, we have some blood donation also there. Last week we had a blood donation, around 40 participants came and we donated the bloods to the hospitals. Then we are, because it's a family bonding, okay, we are not like that is individual chartered account. Then now we are going to explore in the family also. Every year we are doing 1 or 2 events with families. So we are bringing all the families and childrens. Then we are giving some sessions as well as like what you call games, kids, like all the prizes we are giving there, small sport items and everything. Then I'm happy to say that in Qatar, last 2018, we started the exam center in Qatar. We are tied up with the Pune University. So now we are giving to those who want to study and learn CA, no need to go to India for writing the exams. And we started with two students for the first time, and last time it was 77 students appeared for the exam in Qatar. That was a huge number. So anyone wants to study CA, no need to go to India for the exam. We have a dedicated center is there. In addition, in my XCOM, there is a dedicated cell for the students who will Mr. Manish, he will manage all the students cell. So he can, anyone want to do their children to do the CA course, he can interact it or she can interact with Manish and he will guide us. In addition to, we are doing the career counseling for the new members because we want to develop our professions. So what is, we are tie up with some 2-3 schools where we did a career counseling for the new students, those who are coming just qualified for the 10th or 11th grade, I mean 12th grade. We were giving what is the steps, how to join the CA exams and everything. Then other thing that's Nirlap said, we already MOU signed with the Qatar Financial Center and it's renewed for another 5 more years. That's a great news for the Qatar regarding, because we are a reputed company in Qatar, our society and everything. This MOU is signed in 2023 as Nirlap said. This year we renewed, and the benefits we are getting from the QFC, that we send our students for their training, as well as they can also send their students to start CA process, and it's a very easy to, you can form a new company in Qatar, anything we can get. Plus, we are helping a new portal called Sahayda. Sahayda means helping those who want to seeking the job in Qatar, like a qualified as well as semi-qualified. So any member want to join Qatar or come to Qatar, they want to get an opportunity in Qatar, just go to our chapter website. We have a separate portal called Sahayda. It's a job portal. Whether here, there can you can post your resume. And what's the benefit for this? Because we have tie up with a lot of companies, because we are giving the genuine resume to the company. So the quality as well as the quality as of our certificates is genuine there. So they have a trust on our chapter here. So we are giving the genuine resume to the companies and they will do the interview and everything accordingly. And this year around 50 plus placements happened every year normally. So regarding the placement in Qatar, my fellow members, if can go to our website and we can see it that, okay. And we have a very good relation with embassy, because without embassy blessings we cannot survey in overseas countries. So we have good relation with embassies, and next week Monday when Nandaji is coming, we have a meeting with our Excellency Ambassador Mr. Bibalji. So we will discuss some collaboration with ICA and the embassy and all those things. And we have other bilateral collaboration with the Malaysian chapter, Japan chapter, and UK and Singapore, and almost all Middle East are my like that by. Okay, all 6 countries are, we are very closely working. Now I'll give an overall view, because I am just explained my chapter only. Just all audience want to know what is Qatar. As Qatar is one of the vibrant city as well as the most financial richest country in the world, and we did the FIFA in 2022. And it's a stable and steadily economic country supported by strong natural resources such as oil and gas. Despite of global all slowdowns, its resilience remains notable, and the country is a home to vibrant and well-established Indian community. That adds its cultural and economic strength. Qatar has always extend a strong support to Indian community, valuing their contribution across the sectors and fostering an environment of mutual respect, growth, and inclusions. So that's a Qatar is a friendly to everyone. Okay, they are caring Indian values and respecting India. And we have around 24 lakhs of population in Qatar. In that, only 3 lakhs Qataris and around 8 lakhs Indians are there. Remaining second population is Filipinos. And nowadays they are covering all other African countries also there. But everywhere you will get a respect is there. And the language in Qatar is Arabic, and most of the places we are using English also. So there is no communication problem. Any Indians want to come Qatar, please come. This is helping to everyone, and this is a good place, and it's a safety country in the world. No issues there, and most of the economical rich country, and they are caring our values and everything. I just want to give an tips to the CS. Stay curious and keep learning. Continuous upskilling is the key of today's dynamic financial landscape. Embrace the technology, build a strong professional networks, and uphold the integrity in all of you. These are the pillars for a long-term success for every chartered accountant. Finally, if any member or any students wants to contact the chapter, please go through our website, icadohachapter.org, or we have additional app also there. It's available in the Android as well as Apple. So I am welcoming everyone to Qatar, as well as please save the date for our international conference, 16th and 17th. And this year we are planning for a big event. At least a lot of the speakers are coming from the abroad, as well as plus 2 or 3 celebrities we are planning. And Kunjanji, can you share the e-kit? If you go to our website, you can see the e-kit is there. E-kit is a basic. You can know about what is Qatar and how we can register any company in Qatar and where the CSR placement, how many audit firms are there, where is the exam center in CA, where you can do the internship in Qatar, how many audit firms are there, all those things. Can you play that video, Kunjanji?
The technical team is sharing. Please wait.
Yeah. Can you share, please? Okay. Yeah. No, it's playing from your side or my end?
Technical
And-
team, could you confirm the video was played?
It is already playing, ma'am.
Okay, we are live now. Thank you, Kishore.
Okay. It's already
yeah.
played. Okay.
I think the
Okay,
video
okay.
has been shown to the participants.
Okay. And one more thing, go to our chapter website. This same, all the PPT is there available. You can go through it. What is e-career kit and everything is there. How many CFMs are there, where you'll get in internship, where is exam center, what are the chapter activities, all this, everything is updated. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for the Global Udan team, especially C. Abhay, C. Sanjeev Kumarji, and the moderators Maitraji for giving an opportunity to serve us. As Nirlap said, we are the brand ambassador of ICA to share the insights and the activities about ICA Doha chapter and life in Qatar. So I am welcoming to everyone to come Qatar, at least visit Qatar. You know what is in Qatar, okay? Just I welcome to everyone and don't forget our international conference, October 16, 17. It's absolutely free for those who attended this conference. I mean this meeting morning. Thank you so much. Once again, over to Maitreyi.
Thank you, sir. You started this session by giving us the comfort that Qatar is a home away from home, and I think you've re-established that with our, chapter, where you've explained all the activities. You've said there is an exam center. You've talked about cultural. You've talked about sports. You've talked about, of course, the technical CPE sessions. And thank you for that invitation, sir. We're going to earmark our calendars for October 17th and 18th.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing you there on October 17th and
Yeah.
18th. So thank you so much, Kishorji, for that introduction to Qatar. And I'm now going to request Nirlepji to share a little bit more background about Qatar as an option for our members who are seeking, to grow their careers globally.
Yeah, thank you very much. So now can I share my PPT, if okay?
Yes, please.
One minute. So, Maitriji, can you confirm if this Propel, if this whole slide is visible?
Yes, it's on full
Kishore,
screen. I
is
can
it
see the
fine?
entire screen. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So, thank you very much, uh, convener of Development of International Trade and Service and WTO Directorate, C. Abhay Chajerji, Deputy Convener, CA Dr. Sanjeev Singhal for giving us this opportunity to magnify the professional opportunities in Qatar. Thank you so much, Maitreji. I would say very scholarly CA for being a moderator over there. My also thanks first of all to Monica ji and Gunjan ji for all the technical support and all. So it's with the gratitude that we always start the slide. So over the next, I think we have time for next 1 hour or so. Basically, I'll run through this agenda. What I have brief introduction and background for chartered accountant. It's very important to know a brief about Qatar-India relationships, economic and GDP overview, some flavor of, I would say, the macroeconomic outlook of Qatar. What are the emerging avenues? Startup ecosystem is again one of the foundational of the overall growth journey of Qatar and the vision of Qatar. And finally, what are the opportunities in overseas employment in Qatar, and brief about the skill sets what we have. I request Gunjan ji that if you have any question, please pass on to the group, and then suitably I will keep on seeing the group, and as and when opportunity time permits, I will take it. In between, anytime, Maitreji, you can interrupt me for any reason if you say so. Yeah. So my gratitude to, as I always say in my first slide, to my mother and my father, but here mother. So Mataji means mother, Matrubhumi, which means India. We all are here, as I mentioned, this is our host country, but home country will always be India. I always call myself not only chartered accountant, but Indian chartered accountant, like all of us. So gratitude to Matrubhumi, and we should never forget Matru Sanstha, which is our alma mater. And incidentally, we are just having this event just after our 77th foundational day, which CA Day, which we all celebrate. So gratitude to ICI also. There is no substitute of your parents, of your mother, of your motherland, and of your Matru Sanstha, which is alma mater, right? So basically, first of all, to take from what Kishore has very brilliantly, I would say, given the overview of the chapter, and not only I would call him a chairman of our illustrious chapter, but also the real brand ambassador of the chapter. But friends, out of this, the areas which he wonderfully explained to all of you, the most important 2 or 3 areas, in my view, are: one is the very unique concept, Sahayata campaign, which we are running since 7 or 8 years continuously. And those who aspire to relocate to Qatar, those who aspire to change the job within Qatar, even we have extended this help even to our semi-qualified brothers and sisters also, not only chartered accountant. So this is one of the cornerstone of this. It was earlier limited to only to CA within Qatar. Then we expanded to CA in India and elsewhere also. And then we expanded to semi-qualified chartered accountants also, CA students also. Another thing which is very important here is that the very unique, the sports event. You see, so Qatar is trying, that's how you align your chapter activities to the national vision. And that's what impresses me a lot about our DCICI, that Qatar is planning to be, or is already, a sports hub of the region and Asia continent. In line of this, the chapter has elevated its activity, raised the bar to do the activities not only related to the cricket, because we have celebrated 28th our annual cricket fiesta, but you name it, cricket, badminton. Now Kishore said about the football, chess. I wish I'm so healthy and fit, Kishore, just like you, to be able to play football very beautifully on a lighter note. So point is that how you align your activity to the national vision and contribute to it, right? And third, extremely important for all of us, is that here we are here into the overseas country. The support of ambassador, support of the embassy official is very, very important to us, as much as support of the ICI leadership and our alma mater. So we are very happy and gratified to tell you that most of our signature event, milestone events are attended by His Excellency Ambassador of India to Qatar himself since many years, apart from dignitaries like C.S. Suresh Prabhuji, a very iconic and illustrious CEO who came here twice. So this shows the branding and the standing of the chapter, I always say. But for what we are doing it, for what Kishore is doing it, I am sometimes surprised that unlike me, which I have 24 hours only, Kishore may be having 30 or 34 hours. The kind of activity which he is doing and the kind of bar which he has raised, it is really unprecedented this year. And you name any area, stakeholders engagement, collaboration with embassy, collaboration with ICI, students engagement, career counseling events, CSR events. I am not even able to think what he will do, but then it will be done. So that's the beauty of Kishore and his entire team, who is working tirelessly here for the cause of the chapter. Kishore, really kudos to you and the entire managing committee of ICI. Hats off to you. So now let's understand a little bit flavor of before you relocate to any country, what you should see, that how first of all, how you'll expand your overseas expansion strategy, how you'll perceive it. You got to understand the economic environment of the country. It is not just because I've been a speaker in many countries, many cities in India also, in almost all the regions, and around 7 or 8 overseas chapter. Today it will be 8 in evening. I can see that there is an intense interest within our Indian chartered accountant to expand their footprints to overseas. But probably they don't have that kind of mentorship or the very structured approach which they should have. Always first see the economic environment of the country. You should know the macroeconomic status of the country. What is the inflation scenario over there? What are the key economic indicators like GDP growth and all are there? Whether the country is dependent only on one particular sector is also very important. Now, in that case, the country will be vulnerable to that particular sector's volatility. Yeah, so it's very important to understand this. Second is always align yourself with your own domain expertise, because most of the CS will be the CS into practice. This is very important to understand. So one of my friends, this is a practical example. He is a very senior and renowned tax practitioner in India. I think over 2-3 decades of experience. So he recently approached me that, I want to expand my job and work to Qatar. I told you, I'm most welcome. But what you will do in Qatar? Over 3 decades, he has earned his bread and butter and made the fortune in taxation. Now, Qatar is the country where there is no taxation, right? So there has to be some alignment with your own expertise and the legal compliance, taxation, and accounting framework of the country which you are trying to aspire, right? So this is just one example. Cultural and language barriers, you have to understand very well. Political stability, like, for example, everybody wants to do business with UK, Canada, US, Singapore, probably Qatar also. Yes, most welcome. But may not be few other countries, right? I don't want to name them, but why? Because of the very strong political stability and safety which we have. And of course, you have to understand competition scenario also, which is very important, because in CA in India, CAs are, we all are partner in nation building. We are having monopoly over there, but it is not often the case when you venture outside India. So it's very important. This is my 2-3 slides only before I formally touch upon the Qatar. Another thing is also conduct your own market research, right, about the country, including about the Qatar also, okay, which Kishore has very brilliantly explained. We have a very novel e-career toolkit about Qatar. With great efforts of the EXCOM every year, it has been now updated last year, I believe, and fully available over the ICI website and Doha chapter of ICI website. Before you plan to come to Qatar, expand to Qatar or to any country, I believe it is there for all the GCC countries e-career kit. Please refer it. It's like a Bible, Gita or Quran for yourself about Qatar. It will have all kind of information. So it is very important to prepare yourself, whether you want to expand your practice to Qatar, relocation to Qatar, or just by being in India, you want to establish some of the consultancy work. And what is your expansion model? You want to establish firm over here. You want to do retainership. You want to provide the virtual CFO and virtual practice services. Very important to say. Local regulation, I will briefly touch upon. We always worry about the risk management of our client, right? How about risk management of our own firm, right? So it's very important for you to do your own risk management, also diversify your own revenue stream from the domain area. Don't depend on only one kind of work, because that makes the growth of the firm somewhat vulnerable. And of course, availability of talent. Friends, top CFO of the global companies have highlighted this acute problem. We all speak of the emerging avenues, emerging trends, new avenues, newer opportunities, and new frontiers. But how about the talent, right? Each firm has to invest heavily into the technology and into the talent. It's very simple, but probably the most crucial to understand. And this is one of the glaring fact which will probably impact positively or adversely the growth of any CFO firm. I will be the speaker to, as I mentioned, about 6 to 7 cities and region to India. And these are the questions which I have been often asked. I'm sure Kishore will also, have been asked such kind of questions. So I thought to shed some lights over this issue, right? Now, specifically to Qatar, we have to understand about Qatar, or for any country, always understand what are the, first of all, relationship between the government, between the business houses, and between people. So I call it G2G relationship, B2B relationship, and P2P relationship. About Qatar, excellent, because see, you won't like to relocate to the country which is probably not stable, probably not having great relationship in India, probably having economic or political turmoil, right? So that's what my attempt is to explain to all of you. India-Qatar 50 years diplomatic relationship concluded in 2023. By the way, I forgot, Kishore, in any bit, we are speakers here. So in anywhere, if you want to like to say something, please, sir, go ahead, give your feedback and give your additional point. Most welcome. Don't hesitate. It's all about our country. Thank you. Subsequent to the visit of His Highness the Amir of Qatar, the very important elevation of Indo-Qatar relationship has been made to the strategic partnership since February 2025. He visited here in 18th February 2025. And over the last decade, both Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and the Honorable His Highness the Amir of Qatar have visited respectively Qatar and India twice. So that show, including many other ministerial level visits. So that shows the how importance both the countries are placing to each other. In February, USD 10 billion investment was pledged by Qatar to the fastest growing world's economy, of which we all are proud of, which is India. And UPI, again, the one unique selling proposition for our country will be the point of sale contract in QNB, and Qatar National Bank, which is QNB, and Doha Bank already having banks in India. But now QNB is aspiring to have a branch in Gift City also, right? So this is a very strong government to government relationship, which is formed by the mutual trust, respect to each other, and shared values, if I may say so. Business to business relationship, country just having the population of around at less than 3 million, which is 30 lakhs, 8,000 Indian firms are, already established over here. So look at the kind of prominence and respect and probably dominance which Indians are having in Qatar. And who all should get benefit of it? None other than we chartered accountants, right? Who will do the audit, accounting, taxation, consultancy of all? Of course, we have to do, right? And that's why we are here. So 8,000 Indian firms are established with joint venture. There are around 100 firms are already established in a standalone manner, including some big names like L&T is there, and many other firms, right? A landmark trade relationship has been established in February 24, when the long-term agreement of LNG means, friend, the liquefied natural gas. So it is signed by Qatar Energy and our Petronet LNG, which is a listed company in India, to export 7.5 million tons of Qatar's LNG to India annually for 20 years. So this shows the meat into the trade ties between both the relationship. Currently, the bilateral trade stands around 14 to 15 billion, heavily in favor of Qatar, of course, because of the energy which Qatar exports to India, because Qatar exports or India imports 40% of energy needs from Qatar. But this 14 billion is likely to be doubled to 28 billion by 2030. That's the aspiration of Qatar in India, right? And we all are proud of the fact. I always say that, in this country, I'm brand ambassador of India. Recently, Larsen & Toubro got its biggest order in the Gulf region, and any order in the Gulf region of around 15,000 crore rupees from the Qatar Energy. So we are proud of it. L&T was only the company when 2022 World Cup was established. L&T was the only Indian company out of around 30 companies which was there to establish the stadiums and railway network. Probably it's one of amongst the very few Asian companies also. There were a couple of Chinese companies, but from India, it was only L&T. So we are proud of this fact also. Second largest exporter of India and third largest importer for Qatar we are. So this shows that the huge volume of the trade which we have. I always tell to my CA brother, don't limit yourself only to accounts, auditing, taxation work, minor GST work. Okay, you got to have a bigger picture in mind, right? And always have, don't look at the financial probably as an accountant. Look at the economist. How the macroeconomic trends is impacting your number, for example, right? How the rises in the disposable income is impacted your numbers positively. How the overall increase in inflation will be disadvantageous to your numbers or your clients' numbers. This is the way we should look at the financial, not only in a narrow sense as a typical just from accountant's point of view. That's the eye we have to develop. People to people relations, very, very important. I already mentioned 8 lakhs Indian community. Huge source of foreign exchange is around USD 750 million annually is done by Qatar to India. India is the largest expatriate group in Qatar over here, out of probably more than 100 nationalities. 2019 was the Qatar India Year of Culture, which celebrated. They started this practice since I think 2017, and within just 3 years, the huge activities of magnifying the culture of India was demonstrated here to locals, residents, and citizens. And Qatar also endorsed our International Yoga Day, which was started at the behest of Honorable Prime Minister Modi. You won't believe, till 1965, Indian rupees was the currency in Qatar, right? So that shows the very strong culture and historical roots which Qatar has. Some other key facts about Qatar, because I like the terms of reference. If you see the terms of reference, friends, of this directorate, which is doing great work, it is not only limited to accounting and auditing work, but broadly how the export of service can be done. As you all know, accounting and auditing service has been defined as one of the champion sector as far as export of service goes by Prime Minister Modi in 2016. Like Abhijit has mentioned earlier, the MOU between ICI and Service Export Promotion Council has already been renewed. So we should see the activity of any overseas country from a broad spectrum, right? And why? So that our firms can grow, we can grow, and our clients can grow. And that's what we are all aiming at, isn't it? So key fact is that 9th largest sovereign wealth fund globally is Qatar is there. Country which is just having the population of having the sovereign. So what do I mean by sovereign wealth fund is that basically it's the revenue of the state which it probably earns from the various sources, right? Second largest exporter of LNG and third largest producer of LNG after US and Iran, and second largest exporter after US, right? Qatar Stock Exchange is relatively very minnow in that way. 52 companies as of now are listed on Qatar Stock Exchange. And startup system, while we are proud of the fact that we are third largest startup economy globally, Qatar ranked at 79, but having it also shows that immense potential is there to grow. I'll cover a couple of slides now. Qatar export from India is USD 2 billion. What are the export? Mainly and import to India is around 17 billion. Primarily out of that, nearly 75% is the LNG import. I mentioned about the population. Now let's understand briefly about the GDP figures of Qatar. So I've given the 2020 to 2025. Some of the fact here is that it is amongst the world's very few countries, friends, where the GDP has not only reached but exceeded the pre-pandemic level. If you see and another thing is that in 2022, Qatar organized the first ever FIFA and milestone historic FIFA World Cup. Those who are football fan, they would be aware, and many of them had traveled also here, I know. Okay, so if you see the phenomenal rise in GDP, it is 31%, unbelievable rise. It is because of this factor. Okay, in 2021 and 22, then the rise or the decrease has been little bit modest, but still it is quite stable, quite progressive. And also I would say the growth in GDP, growth in Qatar economy, growth in per capita income has been quite organic. What do I mean by organic is that it is sustainable growth. I'm sure Maitreji would be know this. Quite sustainable growth is there, and not infused one, not which is skyrocketing in 1 year and rest every year it will collapse or will not be able to. Yeah. So that's a good factor. This is the sectoral outlook of the GDP, right? And this is on 2023. Because the major construction projects and airport expansion project have been finished, that's why there is a temporary degrowth in the construction sector. But how the big means mega events like Football World Cup, like India is aspiring, I would say, for the Olympic, right, in 2036, if I may remember correctly. How you see it will benefit the economy. See the increase in hospitality, tourism, travel. Great potential is still there, lot to achieve, but 15% increase. So the slight reduction in construction in this sector is offset by the great increase in the transport sector, logistics sector. I will touch upon it, and hospitality sector, right? Quite well placed compared to the rest of the countries in the region and to the world. So I've illustrated 2022 growth of the world, of the advanced economy, of the what we call emerging markets, and of Qatar also. So here, even in the MENA region, in 2023 the GDP growth is 3.4. Here we are talking about 4.9, which is much higher than the average growth of the world also, right? So which means that there is a lot of potential is there, a lot of stability and strength is there, underlying strength is there in the economy itself. Now, some of them I've already touched upon this, so I will not repeat these slides. But just one thing is that we spoke about sovereign wealth fund, where they are investing. They are investing in a huge way in Reliance Retail, for example. Cloud Dental is one of the very aspiring startup. You can Google it about it, where small amount has been invested in Adani Green, which is building world's largest that plant in Khavda region in Kutch. There also sovereign wealth fund of Qatar Investment Authority has heavily invested, right? What do you mean by SEPA and why it is important? So taking the example of UAE, I have a couple of slides that why it is going to be a game changer once the SEPA is signed between Qatar and India. So I have just slides that later on. Taxes in Qatar, and I'm sure that all the chartered accountants are quite interested to know about it. So me and Kishore, we are lucky because there is no personal income tax here. We are not paying any tax to whatever we earn in Qatar. We are also not paying tax by and large, when we remit fund to India in NRE account. So you can say broadly, we are gaining the best of the both worlds, right? Because here no personal income tax on citizens and expatriate. There is no value-added tax also. VAT. So those who don't know VAT, it is just one kind of form of GST, what you have in India. Qatar and Kuwait so far are the only countries in the Middle East which has not imposed the GST. So why? It means that there is a lot of, or there can be other reason also, but main reason is that it's a very rich and very, very prosperous country wealth-wise, as far as the sovereign wealth fund is concerned. So broadly, government does not require the money by way of GST in an immediate future. There is an anticipated rate of 5% in near future. We are hearing since UAE was the first country to levy the GST in 2017. Now today we are into 2025, right? Then Saudi increased the rate of the GST, but in Qatar we are hearing that it may come in 26 or 27, which is the anticipated tax rate. Excise tax is there, which is what they call scene tax on these harmful products. So it's a quite simpler taxation regime is there. Corporate income tax only on the non-Qatari income is there. So if you are 51%, 49 kind of partnership, the tax is levied only on the non-Qatari income, right? And basic custom duty is just a 5%, where basic food items are exempted. These are just little bit more flavor into the taxation, because those who want to have some kind of employment opportunity or even the opportunity to establish firm, they should have all this knowledge. Very important thing is that many chartered account, I was surprised to know many practicing CAs don't know that there is double taxation avoidance agreement is there between India and Qatar. Okay, so where the reduced rate of 10% is against 20% or 15% will be applicable. Withholding tax is just like our TDS, again in a much simpler form is there, which is applicable when any payment is made to the non-residents. There is a concept of contract declaration is there. So what do you mean by is that? What do I mean is that each and every contract which you sign with the non-resident of Qatar, it requires to be reported to the ministry, right? If you sign the contract with the resident, means any Qatari company, Qatari registered company signs contract with any other Qatari registered company, you are required to register it on the online portal. Of course, now in India also, since quite a few years, we have the faceless assessment and all these things. But here also you are required to report it. So, and you see the threshold limit. For non-resident, there is no threshold limit. Even if you sign the contract for $200, you are required to report it. Okay. So and if you don't do it, legally, there is a penalty of Qatari Riyal 10,000 per contract. So sometimes the penalty may increase more than the value of the contract, right? So what is the broad objective of is that? Broad objective, friends, is that which we all have to understand is that Qatar may not require the tax revenue, okay? But Qatar is very strict as far as the compliance of the regulation goes. So here the panel provision compliance framework are very, very strict, not only in taxation, but in everywhere. You will be rewarded, you will be happy, you will be peaceful if you follow all the laws and all the regulation, but you will be punished heavily. To be very honest, if you don't follow the laws of Qatar, the customs of Qatar, or any of these things, right? So this is what is about taxation. There is a unique concept about the opportunities into Qatar, which is there, probably is there in all the countries into the Middle East, which they call in-country valuation, in-country value certification, where there is also great opportunity for the chartered accountants to venture into there and achieve a good growth is there. So what do we? So basically in Arabic it's called tawteen. What do I mean is that they want the enterprises to contribute back to the country to support the localization, right? Like Modi ji has envisioned about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Similarly, on the similar parameters, Qatar also wants to achieve self-sufficiency, indigenization of its goods and services. Here we are talking goods. Okay, so there is a commonality of many goals is there. Weightage is given if the supplier, so if you are trying to procure the goods from somebody, is also ICV registered. So there is a portal of ICV in country value, okay, where the score is published and certificate is to be renewed annually. Practicing CA here can be the ICV certified. So they have to basically certify the score of that and higher the score, higher the chance for you to achieve or to win the tender, especially into the key projects like oil and gas and infrastructure project. So this is one of the emerging avenues, I would say. Many a times I remember Doha chapter has organized some of the web seminars also on this, how it is done and all, when it was implemented a couple of years. More preference is also given to the bidder who are ICV registered, and your score will be higher if you procure it from the supplier who is also ICV registered. So this is one of the emerging areas. Apart from that, there are many areas are there. There are a lot of changes nowadays are there into the CRS, for example, which is common reporting standards for bank. Okay, but I won't go into detail because that's not the objective. Here we are giving the broad flavors of the professional opportunities which is available either if you are into the practice or you want to explore the job opportunities there. Yeah, so this is the area which you should know. Qatar
Then
Financial
just
Center is
one-
one of the parallel
sorry to
regulation over here. What do you mean by Qatar? Yes. Yes,
Sorry
yes.
to interrupt, Nirlipji. There's one question that's come from some of our participants on exactly what you covered in the previous slide, that what are value-added opportunities for chartered accountants, and whether CA can practice in Qatar. So are there additional qualifications they require, or whether they can practice over there without any additional certificates?
So okay, so here, okay, thank you for this question. Okay, now see, first is there the value-added service. I have one slides over there. So with your permission, I will cover that later. But Qatar is following the IFRS International Financial Reporting Standard model. Okay, so you are required to have solid experience and domain expertise into it. Which are the other professional opportunities include apart from accounting? I have one slide. So for the sake of time, I will avoid it. Second question about the establishing offices in Qatar. Yes, you can establish the office in Qatar either under the QFC regime, which is a parallel regulation, or under the regime of Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which is a main regime, in which case you need to have 51% Qatari partners with you. And 49% can be owned by you. You can do all kind of consultancy work. You can straight away start consultancy work. For audit, you need to get a separate license. We call it audit license, and you have to pass the exam to obtain the audit license. And I must tell you that exam is very tough. No, on a lighter note, I came to know it's very easy. There cannot be any tough exam than chartered accountancy in the world. It's very easy. So, but the giving license is into the ministry's hand. Okay, so there is no commitment from anybody's side, from chapter side or anybody's any of our side. But this is the way how you can very much establish your you just need a BCom degree. I would say university degree to appear in the exam and to do it. Okay, and that's why I mentioned that it's very important for us to see that how we are placed with our competitors, right? As far as the practicing CA goes. In India, all your competitors are chartered accountant, our own brothers and sisters. But outside India, you have to compete, friends, with ACCA, with US CPA, Australian CPA, with Filipino CPA, with Sri Lankan chartered accountant, and many other. And of course, we should not forget the local Qataris also. So this is, I think I have answered this question, Maitriji. How to establish the firm within the Qatar Financial Center? It is like, to put in a simple word, QFC is a parallel regulation, onshore business and financial center services, which is having quite relaxed norms as compared to the mainstream regulation, where as you can see, unlike other forms where 51% has to be owned by a Qatari owner, here 100% can be owned by foreign ownership. Profit can be repatriated to the extent of 100% over there. Just a 10% very simplified version of tax on local profit is there. Single online application is there. Is a once you apply it, and then you will have the support from the QFC also, very professional to clear it and to resolve any doubt. One thing is there, your office needs to be with the QFC designated premises, because they want to maintain the stature of this QFC and not want to degrade it. So there are certain areas there. Of course, they are now accommodating more and more areas where your office can be, but it cannot be at wherever you want. Let me be very clear. It has to be within QFC designated premises. So it's a parallel but separate legislation from Qatari law, right? And there are around 25 to 30 Indian companies are there, of which we are very proud of under the QFC regime, which are operating success, right? This comes to the QFC and ICI MOU also, a very popular one, which was widespread published in media. So there is an MOU. Currently, it's under renewal, but we hope it will be again done soon. It was signed in June 2021. Purpose is to create more and more opportunity for accountants and promote and facilitate set of Indian firms participate in QFC events and all. Okay, so it's it's not a reciprocal qualification which ICI has with many other accounting bodies, but unlike in educational nature, this MOU is of entrepreneurial in nature, right? So now it was signed by the ICI president, the then president, CA Niyar Jambusaria sir, and the QFC CEO in 21. And these are the broad spectrum. And you will see anywhere it is widespread there in all the media and everywhere that ICI and we chartered accountant, we will provide technical training and impart knowledge to the employees of QSC and ministry. Then members here will be invited of Qatar Financial Center event, and then on several occasions, QFC was also participated in SIRC, NIRC, and WIRC events, including the sponsor of the events, right? So this is how you collaborate between the two institutions. But even otherwise that also, there are plenty of opportunity for Indian chartered accountant to establish the firms over here. Smaller, there are many, I think at least 25 to 30 Indian CAs are there who are into the practice. Okay. Starting from the on practice, which is having, I believe Morrison is having nearly 70 employees. And then there are many smaller ones also. So I have that breakup. Now comes to your question. One gentleman has asked, or CA has asked, what are the professional opportunities in CA? Auditing is there, for which you need audit license, but a very lucrative one, because the threshold limit to conduct audit is here very low. So virtually by way of law, even the small shop requires to get account audited or file the tax return. Okay, if it turnover exceeds certain limit. Accounting services there, fractional CFO you can service render while you are in India. Taxation and transfer pricing is there. As I mentioned that the taxation requirement, taxation regime, I would say, is quite simple in nature, but at the same time, the compliance framework is quite robust. Okay, so that gives a chance to chartered accountants to render the professional services to the client. Because if you, as I mentioned, if you don't comply with anyone, the penal provision are really very high, right? And now I am hearing that, even especially on this taxation, they're reopening the case, which was concluded probably or in transit somewhere 7-8 years back, right? So that shows the level of opportunities and kind of magnitude of opportunities again, which the chartered accountants are having. Company formation, because there are 8,000 Indian firms are there, not firms, but Indian entities with the JVs in a joint venture with Qatari partners. There is a great scope of there in advising them on how to form a company. Day in and day out, at least even I'm now the past chairman since 3 years or so. Still, I'm receiving some inquiry from our Indian chartered account brother, from some of their clients that help us how to establish the company in Qatar, and who can do it other than chartered accountants, right? So that's very important. Valuation, one of the most demanding areas, valuation is there now. Why? I have covered just one side. Feasibility study. It can be even feasibility study on establishing any new projects, rolling out any new products, expanding to any new geography, or it can be as simple as working capital management, inventory management of any small scale company. So feasibility study is there. And of course, I mentioned about the internal control and risk management and that kind of thing. The risk management itself is area which is growing, which is gaining a great prominence over there. Another thing about Qatar, and where some of you can advise your client, is there, and you should know this, there are permitted activities. Yes.
Sorry, Nirlipji, one more question which was relevant to the previous slide. That there's a question saying, hello, sir, as of now, offshore business management and virtual CFO services are on the boom. Will it be possible to create this opportunity in Qatar?
Yeah, often about this, virtual CFO service, because see, this kind of thing they have to understand, Maitreji, is there. This issue is kind of interrelated to other visa issues and all other many labor issue, administrative issues. Okay, because there are a lot of restrictions, lot of dynamics and changes in law are coming. Virtual CFO service will always be in demand, just like outsourcing services. Outsourcing services, I have one slide, but now I can relate it over here, are projected to grow at 10% annually, and there is no looking back. Okay. Similarly, it's for the virtual CFO service also. Virtual CFO service or the part-time CFO service. And I know, Kishore know, and we know that many of our chartered accountants are giving these services to their entities in Qatar while sitting there in India. Okay, so yes, any of you can contact me or Kishore, and we are guiding to many of our Indian chartered account brethren, and we will be happily doing it. So you can contact us either on our LinkedIn or on our on my WhatsApp. I'm 24/7 available on WhatsApp, as you know, and LinkedIn or on chapter website also, and we will be promptly and happily guide you about it. But yes, it is very much in demand. But but that's a matter of separate discussion. You have to be very solid in your domain expertise. One of the things, friends, which I am really sometimes saddened to know is that about the quality of our deliverables, right? We always say that, Big Four accounting firm or the foreign accounting firm, why they are getting 5 times, 10 times more fees than us. The reason is that they're the quality of their deliverables, the presentation skills. Okay, so let's elevate also ourselves while we aspire to have render services outside India in all these countries. Let's also relook at and introspect within our own quality also. So I think that answers the question, right?
One more question, Nirlipji.
Yeah, please.
So when considering expanding into a market like Qatar, how should a tech or finance professional decide between setting up a local entity versus offering remote services like virtual CFO or retailership? I think you covered it partly in terms of the regulatory.
See, I think, it is a very good question, and I am often asked by this question. As you mentioned, I already touched upon it. See, it all depends on how much you are ready to invest, first of all. Good thing about Qatar is that from my own experience, I can tell you is that relatively so far, the fee standards are relatively higher, okay, compared to some other countries. Okay, that is one good thing about the Qatar. Another thing is that the market itself is maturing, right? It is not an advanced market or not very big market. Whereas, market of our own CA fraternity brethren has already reached to saturation somewhere like UAE or so. Of course, it's a big country also. But if you see if you compare the number of practicing CA in UAE and in Qatar, there is a huge gap, right? But that gives a great opportunity for all of you to establish into Qatar, right? So I'm telling from that point of view. So it's important to understand, first of all, your own capacity also, whether you have expertise in virtual CFO service or you want to go big bang while establishing offices, direct office over here, in which case also you need to relocate it, that whether you will establish your own setup services here, your own firm here, or you will tie up with other professional global bodies, right? There are many others. So that is a very conscious call which you have to take. We can guide only about that, how it is beneficial to be over here, and probably what are the pros and cons when you did not cons actually, but what are the things which you have to keep in mind. I always say, and that's what I mentioned, Maitreji, in my first time. We are very, very mindful in making our clients prosperous. Very, very, very mindful in ensuring their risk management. We have to look at our own risk management also, right? So that's what it is all about. Okay, so you can thank you for questions. Permitted activities. Now, this is very, very important. See how Qatar is trying to be the trade hub of the region. So that's how they've significantly opened up, where 100% overseas investment is allowed by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And these are some of the permit of course, the list is too long. You can Google it, but some of the permitted activities and where recently the many approvals have been given. So the sector and economy is really opening up further also, right? Qatar is also trying to be, so this is like what we have in India, special economy zone. Okay, so there are Qatar free zone, which we have it in Qatar. 2 free zone we have. One is near the airport and one is near the seaport. Benefit, 100% foreign ownership, 100% repatriation of money, 0 custom duty and 20 years tax holiday, right? When I mentioned this to chartered accountants in India about this, some of them required a detailed presentation on it, okay, which I given to them. But point I'm trying to mention is here over that Qatar is trying to be the trade hub of the region. See, the geographical location, friends, is very important in any trade. So the way Qatar is marketed itself is that it is reachable within nearly 10 hours of flight journey from any parts of the world to Qatar. And that's why the Middle East is exactly, if you see in the word, it is into the middle of the world. Okay. So even from India also, I can reach to Mumbai just within 3 hours, or to Ahmedabad within 3.5 hours. So that is a great advantage we have. What are the benefits over here? No restrictions on employees' nationality. Normally, we have the quota system for every visa. Ministry gives that certain number of nationality only you can avail if you want to employ them. But if you want to have a business within Qatar free zone, there is no restriction on employees' nationality. Operate in one of the targeted zone, the real core sectors, which I will touch upon later. They plan to use Qatar as the destination to trade in international market, right? So that's because of they want to avail the benefit of geographical location of the country. And not only you manufacture there, but from here you export it. And a lot of inquiries have come to me personally within last couple of years when this is launched out. What you have to do as a chartered accountant, you have to demonstrate the financial capacity to undertake these mega projects. And who will help, if not you, to your clients to do this, right? And that's why I mentioned it. That's where the role of a chartered accountant and the role of newer opportunities have come into play, right? So this is one of the areas which is a very beneficial to the entities which is operating over there. 100% foreign ownership, repatriation, and 20 years tax holiday, right? But you have to make the feasibility study for your clients for this, and it has to be approved by the Qatar free zone, right? Now I'll touch upon the startup ecosystem. I think Maitreji, I'm trying to cover most of the points, and we will finish it within 10 minutes so that you can speak. Is it fine for you, madam? Thank you. Thank you. So as I mentioned, thrust on the startup ecosystem is one of the common factors between Qatar and India, right? Here, what do you first of all, why all the startups are into the fintech sector, health tech sector, ed tech sector, right? Baiju is the great example in India, which is into the ed tech sector, educational technology sector. Advantages here is that Qatar is having very high ICT penetration, information, communication, and technology penetration, which is as high as 99%. It means that 99% of the population of Qatar is having access to the internet, which is, I would say, which is the backbone of any economy which wants to thrive as far as the startup is concerned, because the foundation of all startup is nothing but the technology, right? I already mentioned gateway between East and West. 2.5 billion people worth 8 trillion combined GDP is just within 3,000 kilometers of Qatar, right? So what does it mean by that? The very high populated country like China, like India, like UAE, like UK, right? Egypt, for example, are within close proximity of Qatar, right? Which are high populated and contributing to very high level of GDP to the world. So that is one of the advantage. Now let's see how Qatar ranks in all these parameters, which contributes to a very thriving startup system. Global competitiveness, third in the region. ICT development, as I mentioned, third globally. Sorry, some of the parts is not visible. Innovation, first globally in general infrastructure. WIPO is the intellectual property organization which publishes the Global Innovation Index every year, where also Qatar is faring very high. Global connectedness, GDP per capita income, 5th in the world by purchasing power parity norms. Okay, so it is those who know, I am sure we all are chartered now, they will know the difference between GDP on nominal basis and GDP on the purchasing power parity basis. GDP on nominal basis is a standalone figure. So for example, those who don't know, for example, the iPhone. So iPhone is costing, for example, in rupee term, to simplify, let's say 1 lakh rupees in US and 60,000 rupees in India. Okay, so what is the cheaper? Okay, but purchasing power parity will align it to the cost of living of India also, and not just the GDP, not just the nominal figure. That's why it is more prominent parameter to measure it. So 5th in the world by the World Bank, business environment, 1st in the region, skill of the future workforce, skill building, on which Indian economy and Qatari economy is emphasizing, always stands very well as far as the World Economic Forum goes. Okay, so this is the startup ecosystem. It's a nascent stage. It has a long way to improve from 79th or 80th place, but that also shows the great potential which the Qatar is having in the whole region probably. Okay. 79 globally, as I mentioned. Good thing is that T-rate, they call it startup T-rate, total early entrepreneur activity, which is increased 15%. Heavily backed, there is an initiative called Startup Qatar is there, which is heavily backed by Qatar Development Bank. And look at the kind of monetary assistance they are giving. $500,000 US for early stage startup and $5 million US for startup, which want to establish to Qatar. Why I'm mentioning is that CS need not to be the only one who will advise the startup owner. They can even own the startup. As we know, in India, many chartered accountants are owning the startup. They are startup founder, startup investor, startup mentor also, right? So that's why my idea is to give the overview of the entire ecosystem and economic landscape of Qatar. Qatar Science and Technology Park is one of them. One mega event which happened recently, of which we are very proud of, is the Web Summit 2025. It has seen participation from 1,000 startups from 80 countries. The country, friends, which is having the population of just 30 lakhs or less than that, much lower than Pune, 30 lakhs means, or any of the Tier C cities in India, has conducted a Web Summit, which was represented by 1,000 startups, right? So this shows the potential in every economy, startup and trade hub and all, right? So which are I mentioned about the permitted activities of Qatar Free Zone. This slide should be earlier. So they bifurcated into the cluster activity, and then the examples have been given. There are total 11 to 12 clusters have been established, that your entity, it means your client's entity, has to be in this particular sector, and then you can do the business over there. So if you see, all these are real sector which contribute to the economy. Food is one of the great areas, which is of interest to you, because food is the one which is of great tie between India and Qatar, right? We always have here annual mango festival. Just we had recently, and which was of great success. Indian mangoes. Recently, you would have seen the post of Indian lychee. You would have seen the post of Honorable CA Piyush Goyal ji. And Indian lychee has been exported to Qatar from Punjab to India. So the food is the great thing which ties between two countries. That's why food, beverages, and consumer products are there, right? I mentioned in one of the question, it was mentioned, Maitreji, about the competitive and business scenario. We have to accept that fact that so far the audit and advisory sector is dominated by big four or at least bigger firms. We have acute competition, and we should be very honest enough, from ACCS, CMS, CPS, CS from different countries. More than 450, it can be even more. Around 600 chartered accountants are there. Indian CAs into Qatar. There is enough, but there is enough room to grow. Positive aspect is there. We are not here to scare anyone. Positive fact is that enough room to grow because of the very robust, thriving and strong economic stability which country has, right? Main thing is that the market is still not overcrowded, right? SEPA is one of the things which is aspiring, which Qatar and India are targeted. It was discussed in the recent visit. It is already there between India and UAE. So that's why I took UAE's example, that how it can be the game changer, comprehensive economic partnership agreement. The trade can be, this is a UAE example, but my only idea is to showcase to you that how it can be game changer as and when it happened with Qatar or with any countries, to India and this country also. That SEPA also covers the 11 sectors, including the professional services is there, where the higher number of visas will be given to Indian people. The preferential market access will be there. We should know all these things. That's why I'm telling the terms of reference of the directorate are very, very unique. It's not limited us only to accounting and auditing, but also about the trade. And now trade is the big buzzword, and it's going to change the world. We all know what is the development which is happening on trade front, right? So this is the big benefit to India and to UAE. We hope that it will happen to Qatar also over the next 4 and 5 years, as they are aspiring to do. You see, even the balance of trade, balance of payment. Due to this, in 2028, the trade volume between India and UAE is likely to be neutral. Currently, it is in favor of UAE, but if here it is implemented, it is likely to be neutral in favor of Qatar, means in favor of India, sorry. It means it will go from negative to neutral, currently which is negative, towards India. Due to higher level of import by India, it will be neutral. So that's what is happening when commercial, when comprehensive economic partnership agreement between any country. You can Google about more about this, in which country it is at, right? I'm sure Kishore will love this slide. Indian chartered accountants in Qatar. So 450 to 600 CAs are there in quite diversified sector, as you can see, in oil and gas, in retail. Many are having independent practices also. Consultancy is there. Oil and gas is there. Hospitality. So it's a quite well diversified across all the sectors. And chartered accountants are here as a CEO position, some of them, business owner, advisor to business owner, and of course, finance head, CFO. Also domain-wise, it is very, very well diversified. CAs are not here only limited to accounting and audited. They are doing accounting, finalization, reporting, auditing, taxation work, valuation work, and many such areas, internal audit, risk management, and of course, number of chartered accountants are into the technology front also, especially in the Q companies. So this is how it is. I mentioned about the valuation. Globally and especially in Qatar, these are some of the sunrise domains, I would say, where the demand is much higher, or demand will be rather much higher in coming years. So I have mentioned here what are the skills required. Valuation is one of the big area, because a lot of divestment, lot of infusing the capital, lot of buying and selling of business are happening. Then there are a lot of factors are there. So what are the skills required is there? What are the business knowledge is there? Data science will be the things for tomorrow, and it will happen very soon to all of us, not only in Qatar, but everywhere, right? So use of some of the statistical models, as you know, that for kind of analysis, what if analysis, scenario analysis, strong knowledge of technology, predictive analysis, prescriptive analysis, all these are very much required now, especially for our young generation. It will be required. And for us also, if we don't relearn and unlearn ourselves, we'll be obsolete. And that's the fact. That's what Kishore also said in his address. It's very, very important for us to understand that I always say to my mentees and to young chartered accountants and to all of us, that we should not be proud of the fact that, come on, we are belonging to that 5%, 6% result slot. No, it is a matter of past. Maitreji has passed CA 30, 35 years back. I did some 20 years back, but that has happened. Now what we are going to do? Okay, what we have to do is that we have to reskill and upskill constantly ourselves. That's the only way how we can earn and maintain the glory of this coveted qualification, chartered account. There is no other way to it, in my view, right? So these are the areas where you would probably focus upon. Outsourcing assignment, as I mentioned, a lot of queries I have been receiving, my friends, about this. What are the things to be kept in mind? It is likely to grow, as I mentioned, at 9 or 10% every year. The cost difference between labor rate or wage rate in India and US and Canada, and in India and in Qatar or this here countries, it will not be that high. Let's accept the fact. But still, outsourcing will be here to stay without any doubt. So there is a great potential to there. There are a lot of issues are there. It is also related to the residency and visa related issues, which I mentioned over there earlier in the part. So that's why outsourcing assignment, the technological services, the cyber security services, the virtual CFO service. So anything basically which is relating to remote operations or anything which is relating to technology, which is backed by technology, is here to stay in Qatar, and it will only grow, right? So what are the things to be kept in mind? Some of them I already mentioned. Always understand the cost dynamics. I gave the example of the difference in wage rate between India, Qatar, and other countries. Be the value creators. Okay, draft your proposal and maintain the quality of your deliverables. Absolutely excellent. That's where probably sometime, unfortunately, Indian chartered accountants lags behind, because the quality of our deliverables, quality of our proposals and commercial, it has to be at par with international accounting firm, right? And of course, we are the first one who will check all the legal and compliance issues, so that we should be very mindful of it. Don't jeopardize yourself to unnecessary risk. As I mentioned again, do your own risk management, also your risk management of you as a practicing C and of your firm also, before you venture into any of this kind of overseas assignment, right? Employment, because here the 80% of chartered accounts are into industry, right? What are the sources how you can get the job? Website of the leading corporates. LinkedIn is the best source where we all are active. Employment consultant, headhunters. You would know the difference between headhunters and employment consultant. Employment consultant is for the normal employee. Headhunters is for the CFO, CEOs, and finance head and head of department level and above. So approach them. E-career campus placement and e-kit is wonderful document which we have launched here. We have shown the video also to all of you. It is available everywhere on ICI website and Doha chapter website and app also. Please refer it. Very exhaustive documents with around 50-60 pages. And every year it is renewed with great efforts by all EXCOM. ICI's overseas chapters in respective countries. So in Qatar, we have Sahayata campaign. As I mentioned, you can approach our chapter. We are always there to help our professional brothers and sisters, either in getting employment, either in setting up the accounting for here, either in getting the sharing the details about due diligence. A lot of inquiries I am receiving that, I know about this particular entity. Can you please give some cross reference to it? Can you help us in doing some due diligence and standing of it? Then I'm sure then we found out that some of the locals, our own Indian chartered in the finance head over there. So we share that, okay, it's a very safe and stable company because we know somebody who is a CEO over there. So this kind of services which we provide, we as a chapter, I mean, we provide services. In short, prior to you land into Qatar, and once you land into Qatar, also we provide all kind of support and services also. And we don't want anyone to leave Qatar, right? So that is one thing. And these are some of the website. What are the skills required for that? One of the skills which we need for employment is that you need a sector-specific knowledge always. If you experience in banking, explore job only in banking or broad into BFSI sector. You cannot expect a job, however lucrative it can be, within the, let's say, manufacturing sector. So there should not be mismatch between the sector-specific knowledge which you have and where the opportunity is there. Customize your resume always. Very important thing is that please be mindful of the cost of living. Okay, before you accept any job, please be mindful of what are the cost of living is there. We are receiving, I'm sure Kishore also may be receiving many such queries about, that what are the cost of living for a family is there. Please do your own research, then only accept the job. We don't want anyone to repent the job, any chartered accountant to repent after accepting the job that the cost of living is too high, which we were not aware of it. See, that's the whole idea of this career kit, e-career kit, to mention all these things. Visa requirements, also this is very important. Many of CAs are not aware that how you can and when you can change the job and what are the conditions which are required for you to change the job and what will prohibit you to change the job. So please be mindful of all these things again. And of course, social life is great over here, but you can do your own bit of research also. Last couple of slides. This is my own acronym, which I have done it. I call it NEST. Many of people ask me nowadays, what are the skills required? Broad skills. In no particular order, always be great at networking. So those who are here, we always say that you always attend our chapter events, meet chartered accountants, do networking outside CA community also, which is also very important. Like we have done with support of, again, this directorate, we had organized, let's say, Startup Summit in 2021, which was of great success. Thanks to directorate and Monica ji for all the support in that time, that year. And that's how we raised the awareness about startup and gave the pull to the chartered accountants, to do networking. Education means, I already mentioned, reskilling and upskilling ourselves. Soft skill, that's why we all are here to speak. So whatever we know, we should be able to present and speak in an effective manner. And of course, we cannot do away without the technological skill, which is our backbone, I would say. So this is the nest for you. Storytelling skill is one of the most skill in demand. I happen to write one articles on the storytelling skills. Okay. One of the most demanding skill by any CFOs in 21st century is the storytelling skill, negotiation skills, problem solving skill likewise. Okay. So this is the skill where we are required to actually sell the financial data to non-financial people. So how to build up a story. A story does not mean that what our grandmother used to tell the story. Of course, that was even more difficult in my view. But here the story means that how you simplify the finance function and sell your ideas so that you are respected and accepted in a greater manner by non-financial people, right? Overseas journey of ICI, we have 54 overseas chapter. In broad geography, we have 4 in UAE. 14 chapters, recently 2 were opened in Atlanta and other place in USA. 2 in Canada are there, 3 in Saudi Arabia and 4 in Australia are there. So this is the overseas journey of ICI. Apart from that, there are many, because I am also specially invited to International Affairs Committee this year, thanks to the President. So my duty is to, speak a little bit about some places outside Qatar also, and hence these slides. Do you agree, Kishore, with this slide or not? Let's end on a humorous note. I think it is saying that he is saying
Yes.
Exactly, yes, very truly said Kishore. So he is saying that why I have to be creative? I am not a poem or novelist or movie maker. I'm an accountant. Okay, friends, you also, even with an accountant degree, we all have to be creative. We all have to be innovative. We all have to think out of the box always. So this is Maitreji, over to you, my presentation and humble attempt to raise awareness about opportunities. And this is,
thank you.
I can be. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just telling to our viewers and listeners, I'm thanking them first of all for their time. I can be reached on this number, email and LinkedIn. And thanks to you. Yeah, please, Maitreji, over to you.
Thank you, Nirlipji. This has been, such a comprehensive coverage of Qatar as an economy, of how CAs, what they can set up, what are the requirements, everything that would be needed by somebody who has any questions. So thank you so much for that comprehensive coverage. We have a lot of questions from our participants on the webinar, but I'm going to begin with one very, very interesting question. And I'll go to Kishorji first and then come back to you, Nirlip, on the same question. What interests people most in moving to Qatar? Is it career growth or monetary considerations? I found this question very interesting and I thought I would begin with that.
Yes. Maitraji, come again. I can't hear it properly.
So what would interest me most if I wanted to move to Qatar? Would it be career growth or would it be monetary considerations?
It's a very interesting question, and I have to say in a diplomatic answer. Okay, it's both ways. It's a career also. It's good. It's growing up because we are here. We are competing with the CPS, and as Nirlabji said, there is ACCS are there, and monetary wise, and we are getting a good pack because there is, as of now, there is no tax. So what are the benefits we are getting? It's a completely tax free, and when we are sending to in India also, there also it comes under NRA. There also we are getting the benefits. And the cost wise, compared to, as he said, it's an GDP and PPT, it will be a little bit expensive compared to other Middle East. But it's, even though it's a, most of the Qataris, I mean, chartered accountants in Qatar, they are getting a decent salary. And before coming, as Nirlabji said, do the all the analysis and ask accordingly to the your, because most of the companies and a little bit risk is there changing the job. It's not easy like other Middle East, but it's okay. We can do it after 6 months. Depends on the profession, which position you are doing. So both ways, career wise as well as monetary wise, and as I said, the comfort zone is very good in Qatar because as Nirlab and I explained earlier, if you want to back to home, if anything emergency within 3 hour, 2 hour, you can reach in India.
Yes.
So it's like that. You are
It's very
taking the flight
important.
from Cochin to Mumbai, 3 hour, or we are going to our Alma Institute in Delhi, 4 hours. Same time you can reach in Qatar. That's the advantage. And every day at least 20-25 flights are flying between India and Qatar. So it's very easy. What I said earlier also, it's home away from home. Okay. So it's like a second home for me, as well as new aspirant CS. They can also come join. And I seen some couple of queries regarding the how to establish. I am advising to everyone, please go to the e-career kit. Everything is available there. How you can register, how many Indian firms are there, where you can do the articleship, everything is there. Okay. So please go to the website and everything available. Thank you. I think I cleared my questions.
Yes, Kishore,
Thank you.
absolutely. Home away from home. Why will it not be home away from home when you have Mango Festival and when you have lychees available? What else do we need? Nirlabji,
Yeah,
your
all,
thoughts.
everything available. Yeah.
Your thoughts, Nirlabji. What is most
And also I want to add my
Sure, go ahead.
Maitraji, I want to add one more thing. As I said earlier, your main language is Arabic plus English also. Nowadays, people are start talking in Hindi also. So there is no communication barrier also. If you go to any shops, and either he knows in our Indian language or Hindi, they knows it. So there is no communication barrier also. So we feel that we are in India only. We are not missing all the festivals. We are celebrating all the festivals here across the year. Okay. I think, for example, I can say Holi 3 or 4 times a year celebrating. Like Onam, it's a continuous. Actually, in Kerala, only one time we are celebrating, but here it's a continuous. So we are not missing anything. Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
Kishore.
Nilabji, please go ahead.
As an extension to that question, Nirlipji,
Yeah.
I know you covered purchasing price parity and Qatari per capita income being at number 5. There is a question from someone saying, what is the salary range? And I think you already answered it based on the purchasing price parity, but I do want to take up that question with you.
So see, first thing, because your first question and this is slightly interrelated, and it's very important to understand that, monetary growth and career growth. So we have to strike a balance. So my answer is that, like all CS favorite answer to any question, it depends. Okay. Or okay, anyway. But what I will tell is that monetary growth is really good. But your career growth always depends how you are willing to reskill and upskill yourselves. There is no straightforward answer to that. But yes, I have seen many chartered accountants here who have grown with the company. I'm not talking about the monetary, but about the career growth. Achieve an excellent career growth who have helped the organization to achieve the growth over few years or few decades, and who themselves have also growth phenomenally in terms of career growth also and monetary growth also with respect to that. But because the size of economy, see, your career growth will always depends on the size of economy. Like why in India? Okay, for example, our Honorable PM Modi ji is aspiring to have $30 trillion economy by 2047, right? By 2028, we are aspiring to achieve $5 trillion economy. We are already at the 4th largest economy of the world, and it is estimated that we will soon reach the 3rd largest by 2030. That's where the opportunity lies. So like in India, in Qatar also, the size of the economy is always going to be expanded only. As you've seen from my figures, that it is one of the few countries in this level of GDP range, which has actually achieved the pre-pandemic level already or exceeded it. So there is a phenomenal career growth. But it also depends on how you want to, invest into the real learning and upskilling. And on your second question about the salary range. See, salary range, there cannot be, Maitreji, any standard answer to that, because it is very, very dynamic. And I cannot tell you just now that finance manager will earn 15,000, 20,000. First of all, you have to understand one thing. Your salary range will depend not only on you, but also on this budget of the company also. The salary ranges in Qatari government company is quite different than into the private company. So this is the first thing. Okay. Salary range will also depend on a lot of other factors also, that how you are currently earning, and what is the requirement of that company, what is your seniority level also. Like, for example, the finance manager handling the balance sheet size of 50 million Riyal will be quite different than the finance manager who has to handle the balance sheet size of 500 million. Okay, and that's where even if the designation is same, salary will be different. So my answer is that we should not generalize it at all. But yes, overall, I would say the salary range here is quite decent. You can earn reasonably well. I'm not comparing with India or with any country. Big advantage is always the tax benefit. You are not required to pay 20, 25%, 30% tax on your income over here. There is not so encouraging news. Oman has already levied the personal income tax from 2028, which is the first Middle East country which has levied the personal income tax. But in Qatar, still the VAT has not come. So I think the income tax is a matter of quite far. So yes, as of now, there is no tax, and that's a big advantage, even if you earn little less on salary.
Yeah. Thank you, Nirlipji. Kishorji, in your opening address, you talked about how Qatar chapter is embracing diversity, and you had cricket teams with 2 cricket teams made by female members. So on behalf of the female participants in today's session, my question to you is Qatar a country where there are facial coverings and other things required, or is it friendly to females for employment who are looking at moving to Qatar and expanding their career in Qatar? So on behalf of the female chartered accountants, I thought I'll pose this question.
Qatar is friendly, and Qatar is respecting the culture as well as, and there is no need to wear this abaya and this traditional all the Qataris dresses. Okay, so they are friendly. Although if you are interested, you can wear it. There is no there is no burden to this dress. You have to wear that dress like that. There is no like such restriction from the government side. You can wear. It's a friendly and freedom country is there. I think I covered that question in a diplomatic way.
Only thing to add to Kishore's comments, you have to still follow the local rules and regulation. So it means that you have to dress in a moderate way. Okay. So I must add over here. Moderate way does not mean that you have to always wear the abaya or cover your face. It means you should look decent. I think that's what we should conclude. Yeah. Which is just like any other Indian city. Yeah.
Thank you, Nirlipji. So ordinary professional etiquette is all that is expected to be followed in terms of dress code for women and men. Thank you. That was an important one to address.
Maitreji, to add on that one, there is no restrictions for getting the female to getting the driving license. They can watch movies, they can play cricket, shuttle, badminton, everything is there open. Okay, there is no restriction like that. This is only for the men, this is not for the ladies like that. They are open to everyone. But as Nirlip said, in a little moderate dress that everyone knows, you have to how to dress it. Okay, there is no restriction from the government side. You have to wear this, or when you are going for a gathering like that, it's not there.
And also, Kishore, this is very important question, Maitreji. I'm taking liberty to say a sentence. See, about the Indian women chartered accountants are there. The growth of chapter membership, as far as women chartered accountants, there are phenomenal. In fact, they will outgrow. If you see the percentage-wise growth, they would outnumber the growth of the male chartered account. The reason is that many of the women CAs are coming here on husband's visa. We already have more than 100 women CAs, which was unthinkable, let's say 10 years back. So out of out of, let's say 450 or so, we already have 100, 150 women chartered accountants in Qatar, which was not even possible if we think before 10 years, 15. So that growth has been great. It means there is no restriction as such. There is no restriction on job or any of the social life. And, sometimes they are even given the preference in as compared to males due to various factors in employment also. So that there is no issue at all. Yeah.
Thank you, Nirlipji. It was important to address even for male members who are hesitant to bring their families to Qatar. It was an important question to address. So thank you for all those clarifications. One last question for Kishorji. You talked about the website of ICAI Doha. With an Indian address, can we register on that website?
You can directly go to that website and you will get the email ID of the chapter, so that you can send all the details, including I seen some queries regarding the resumes or any related to things. You send it within 24 hours, you will get a response from our chapter, because we have a dedicated team. They will review all the emails. So whenever it's coming any emails addressing to regarding the sender or any opportunity, and you can also post there itself, you can post your resume, so that we will just first our side we will review it, and later they will be posted in our jobs portal, because first we have to clear it whether from our side it's a genuine, this qualification is good or like that, then we will post it. Because as Nirlab said, then a lot of companies we are in tie-up, so they have a trust on our job portal, because we are the giving the best candidate with best qualification, everything. So we want to maintain that trust between the both companies. So you can send all the this one queries through that email ID, chapter email ID. Immediately you'll get a response. Okay, that is from a guarantee and assurity from our chapter side. That is well maintaining, and dedicated team is there following all those things.
Thank you, Kishorji. And, like all good things must come to an end. We're at 3 o'clock already. And thank you both for taking us through a virtual journey, literally, of Qatar. We felt like we were virtually visiting Qatar. And of course, we have your invitation, Kishorji, to visit Qatar
Yeah, sure.
on 17th and 18th, which
Yeah.
is on the mind of all the participants. But thank you for that very comprehensive coverage of what a career in Qatar will look like. And thank you for taking time out. I know Friday must be your day off. So thank you for taking time out to address our participants today. And we look forward to meeting you on 17th and 18th October.
Sure.
My deepest
Okay.
gratitude to you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much to you for brilliantly handling, to Kishore, Monica ji, Gunjan ji, and the leaders of this directorate. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, all the viewers.
Thank you so much.
You can stop now recording.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much, Maitra ji from the ICA Doha chapter. Thank you, CA Nirlab ji, Abhay ji, and Sanjeev ji, and Monica ji, and Kunjan ji. Okay, see you on our international conference. Okay, we are expecting, and we will give you a warm welcome to here, Qatar. Okay, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure hosting you both today.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Have a
And
great
thank
day.
you to the tech support team and Gunjan ji and Monica ji.
We can
Thanks, everyone.
we can stop recording now.